why do we give so much of importance to Rama? In North India, he's called Ram. Okay, in South India, it is Rama. So why do we give so much importance to Ram or Rama? You know, even though people consider him as a divine soul, as divinity incarnated as human, in human form, let us look at the human aspects of the person. He is born as a normal human being. He is born as a prince. But think about his life. Even though he is born with a silver spoon in his mouth, what is happening in his life? It is very similar to what we face in our lives. It's always ups and downs and ups and downs. Right? He is faced with the most difficult things. Right? And he has to pass through all these difficult things. He has to go into exile, even though he's supposedly going to be the king. He's going to be crowned the king. He is exiled. He has to go to the forest for 14 years. Okay, you thought that was bad. Then his wife had to be kidnapped. Okay, by a very powerful, strong warrior king. Then he had to fight a battle to win her back. Then he brings her. Then again he has to be separated from his wife. So there's lots of issues in his life. Right? So what makes Ram so special? So that, let's not consider him, let's take the godly or divine part out of him. Let's consider him as a normal person like you and me. For the time being, let's keep the divinity apart. Normal person like you and me. Right? So Rama is going to be crowned king. Eve of the ceremony, what happens? His stepmother wants her son to be the king. And because of a promise which the king had made to her, okay, she wants that promise done. And the promise was like, she has got 3 boons from the king. And one of the boons she wants is to exile Rama into the forest. The king has no say here. The queen, or the stepmother of Rama, literally wants to exile Rama into the forest for 14 years. Now, Rama is a prince, and everybody in the kingdom wants Rama to be the king. And Rama is a warrior at that time. Rama is one of the strongest warriors of that time. Right? He's an extremely powerful warrior. So if he wants, he can easily say that, okay, I don't care about some promise made some years back. Everybody in the kingdom wants me to be the king. I will be the king. Right? But Rama didn't do that. So Rama said, okay, because my father made this promise, I will honor the promise. Even though I have all the qualities and everybody wants me to be the king, I will honor my father's promise and I will go to the forest for 14 years. Right? He leaves everything just because of a promise his father has made. Even though everyone else wants him to rule the kingdom. That is his special quality. Right? How many of us can do that? Okay, leave all the, he's born as a prince, he's brought up as a prince. Now he has to leave all that comforts and go into the forest for 14 years. How many of us can do that? It's very difficult. So that righteousness, that's a virtue which very few of us have. Now, when he is going into the forest, he has all his wealth. He's a prince. He has got lots of ornaments and all of that. He calls all the poor people, gives everything away. He didn't say that, okay, after 14 years I'm going to come back, so I'll keep it in a safe. He was not like that. He said, okay, why do I need this? For 14 years I'm not going to use it. Anyway, let someone else use it. Kindness. Right? He gave everything away to people. Okay, he took nothing with him when he went to the forest. Okay, but his wife and his brother followed him. That's another problem. He didn't want them to do that, but they followed him. Now, when he went into the forest, his father was so heartbroken. His father loved him so much. His father wanted him to be the king. His father was so heartbroken and he had a heart attack and he died. Okay. When he died, supposedly his stepbrother was supposed to be the king, Bharata. Both Bharata and all his family members, even the rishis, spiritual advisors of the king, everybody went into the forest and told Rama, please come back. Your father is no more. We want you to be the king. Right? Even Bharata goes and touches his feet and asks him to come back. Right? But Rama is extremely determined to keep his father's promise. Determination. Right? Even though his father passed away, he is determined to keep his promise. He says, no, I will be in the forest for 14 years. Right? How many people can do that? Now, in those days, kings normally have like a few wives. Even his father had a few wives. Right? So it is quite normal for Rama also to have a few wives. But Rama was extremely truthful and very loyal to Sita. So they are in the forest. Okay, and then, Rama goes hunting and all that. And then a very beautiful lady approaches him. After him. Right? Extremely pretty, even prettier than Sita. After him saying, please marry me, please marry me, please marry me. Take me as your wife. Right? And Rama goes like, see, I am happily married. I have a wife. If you want, you can ask Lakshman. So even in that temptation and all of that, in the forest, right, Rama is extremely truthful to his wife. Right? So truthfulness is another quality. Now, about fearlessness. Rama's wife Sita is kidnapped by Ravana. Now Ravana is a very powerful king. Ravana is a very powerful warrior. And he has got a whole set of demons. A demon army who's protecting his island castle. Rama has no qualms. Rama doesn't have an army. Without an army, he goes with determination and fearlessness to fight against Ravana. Right? He collects the monkey army on his way. Okay, that is another story. But even with the monkey army, who is he facing? He is facing some of the top warriors in that time. Ravana, Indrajit, Kumbhakarna. Right? These are all the best warriors of that time. And he is fearless and he goes and fights them. He fights against Ravana, he fights against Kumbhakarna. Indrajit is killed by Lakshmana. That is a big story around that also. Right? But he has the courage to go and the fearlessness to go and fight for his wife. Right? His wife is kidnapped. His dharma as a husband is to protect his wife. Is always adhering to his dharma. As a husband, his dharma is to protect his wife. He goes and fights and brings her back. Right? That fearlessness. Now, he fights, kills Ravana and conquers Lanka. Lanka is one of the richest kingdoms in that time, with lots of riches, lots of money. Right? But those days what happens is that, when you conquer a kingdom, the conqueror normally takes all the wealth. And what does Rama do? Rama, even after conquering Lanka, which was the most prosperous kingdoms in those times, he gives it to Vibhishana. Vibhishana is Ravana's brother who helped Rama. Right? He gives the entire wealth and the ruling, he makes Vibhishana the king. He gives all the wealth to Vibhishana. That is about being grateful, because in the battle Vibhishana helped. Right? Even after winning, Rama didn't take anything from Lanka. Right? Being grateful. Right? Now, Rama went and fought with all these demons, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, all of them, right? Now, they had lots of evil tendencies. Now Rama can say that, okay, I killed them, I'm so proud that I killed them. Right? My anger is, because of my anger now I have killed all of them. He didn't do that. Right? That is, he cremated their bodies with full honor. In Hinduism, there is this lot of rituals you have to do when somebody dies. Right? So, all of them were cremated with full honors. Even Ravana, by Rama himself. So even after death of killing all these demons for their bad things which they did, Rama did what was right. It is all about doing good to everybody. Doesn't matter even if they were your enemies. Now, if you look at all these qualities, the qualities goes on and on and on and on. It is very hard to find someone who is a human with all these qualities. Right? And And this is the main reason why we respect and worship Ram.